What's John doing? What's Rock doing? No fucking way! What the fuck just happened? And I don't give a fuck what anyone's like, oh, I knew that was... Nobody knew that was gonna fucking happen. Bean. What the fuck was Travis Scott doing there? 20 years time. And the one question everyone's gonna ask every year, why was Travis Scott there?
He will put Cody over, or maybe not this time, but it will end with somebody's benefit. And that's giving back to the business, and that's the legacy of this moment. Welcome everybody to a special edition of the Unnamed Podcast here on the FiveMarks Network. Still waiting for a name, but it doesn't matter because it's still me in your host seat, the only
Unfortunately.
Mark on the FiveMarks Network. Thank you very much for that solid endorsement. I have to be nice to you because ultimately you are
I'll fire
the
him.
final boss.
I'll fire him.
It's
like Eric
Martin
Bischoff,
with us
this
today.
is WCW.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Martin, how's it going? Thanks for joining us again, giving us your time and your platform. Let's be doing the kiss arse thing.
He's great. We'll keep him for another
You
week.
sold out.
You sold out. You
sold
sold
out.
Not the first person sell out this week.
Well, that is for sure. But as ever, delighted, joined by the savior of the FiveMarks Network, the man who may or may not get this whole thing cancelled. It's Mr. Aron.
Pleasure to be here, boys. I don't really like the saviour. I've got to be honest with you. As much as I want to be the saviour of the FiveMarks podcast, I don't want to get rolled up every week. So, on that note, I want to try something different, but we'll keep that for another time. But, we can move swiftly on from that.
Fair enough. We'll keep it in our mind. If you've got a gimmick for Aron that you think he should go with, give us a shout. I quite like the saviour. Don't like the idea of being rolled up. Not going to rant too much about it. I spend too much time talking about Mr. McIntyre. But there's a little bit more to discuss. Because today is our special edition. It's a review of what was possibly the most difficult to call elimination pay-per-view we may have had, giving us one of the most shocking moments in WWE history. Don't you laugh at me saying shopping. I may have fucked up my words, but I tell you what, one man who definitely fucked up looks like it might be Mr. John Cena himself. We'll get to that and everything about it, but we'd still want to touch on our usual bits. I have asked, as we always do, each of our guests to prepare a random background for the day, and we're going to have a guessing game for the random wrestler of the week for each of us. As we had to teach the final boss himself how to use Zoom backgrounds, because clearly Martin's background is too good for a virtual one. He never knew how to do it. I'm too scared to let him go first. So Aron, let's guess. Let's guess your man or woman.
So last week, my wrestler was the late, great World's Largest Love Machine, Viscera, who unfortunately passed away. Now, the guy is a man who I've gone for, and I'm trying to keep it topical this week. What I will say is he's still alive, but his character is dead. That I'm going to show you.
Okay, thank God.
No, the person's still alive and the character's dead. Not an on-screen death, but you'll know what I mean. He, I actually don't know when he left WWE, but he was hot at one time or another. And a certain man that we are going to talk about today a lot had let's just say, interesting storyline with this wrestler. So just wanted to keep it topical. I put him in. I don't really know what I can say about him that will give it away, make it easier, make it harder. But he's got his own catchphrase. He's doing all right now. He's got a banging wife who's doing really successful, who's a champion. So, don't know if that's enough to give you boys a little guess.
You know it.
You do know it. You do know it. It is the one, the only Zack Ryder.
The worst photo you could possibly find as well.
Well, do you know what? Because it is very topical for what we're going to talk about. Because people are saying this historic heel turn that happened on Saturday night was the first one since 2003 for Mr. Cena or whenever it was. But as a good old friend, Mr. Ryder would say or think, Mr. Cena did do something very naughty in 2011, 2012 when he.
The true heel turn.
That was a true heel turn, in my opinion. You know what babyface goes behind one of his best friends back and kisses, his partner, and yeah, it killed the main man's push. And I really don't like how this photo is very centralized. So I'm blocking the guy's face. I'm going to try and move out of the way here.
It does make you look like you got a tiny little quiff going on with Zack Ryder's quiff going. But you're right, Matt Cardona. You're right. The man who's doing pretty well for himself at the moment, appearing all over the place. But yeah, I think that's a really good one because it does nicely segue into well, the big talking point that we will have. I'll go next, Martin, because you're getting the practice. Mine's not as topical, but if we think about wrestling today, and we think about the number of wrestlers and their iconic finishing maneuvers, why do so many people use the one move? Is my question to you guys. Why do so many people continually use the same move?
Because
Is it a good one?
You're not as good as Jimmy Wang Yang.
Could be.
Or Kenzo, or Big Kenzo.
Or Big Kenzo. Or do you know what? Or Angel Garza, who clearly should have won the Elimination Chamber.
I can't believe he wasn't even in it.
I thought he was going to want to sell his soul.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Perhaps at some point. If I were to say, guys, the most overused finish, what is it?
Beer! Beer!
And if I were to ask, in your opinion, whose spear is the best of the lot?
Oh, so...
Big Dave.
So... Who?
Big Dave Bautista.
I would say if you count the gore as a spear, you got to put the man they call Rhino.
The man they call
yes!
Rhino.
Yes!
Do you want to know a fun fact about Rhino? No one has ever kicked out of the gore.
Oh, you
Because,
sure?
because if they ever kicked out, it was just a spear.
Ah, love it. Love
Well,
it.
this is me practicing with my spot that
What's
do
in
the
your hand?
teeth as well. Do the teeth, go on.
I'm smiling right now. For the listeners, I am doing an impression of the background. My background is Rhino this week, as I was doing an impression of Heath Slater, thinking I was also winning the tag titles with him. Martin, take us home with your random wrestler of the week.
I actually had one originally, which I'll save for the next time I'm on here. And I've changed it in the last second of you doing your whole Zack Ryder thing. My one actually ties in well to our topic today. I'm not going to waste too much time on it. But this guy is a brilliant, brilliant mind in wrestling. Has created many, 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 many moments and has created many match types in WWE. I don't want to reveal too much, but all I would say is, Michael Cole, you're very fucking wrong. Because the person I have selected is the person who didn't create the Elimination Chamber, but the person who created Money in the Bank. Oh,
Why?
It's Chris Jericho's waist.
That's an edge there. That's edge out the
That
two.
is Chris Jericho entering the first Elimination Chamber match. Why it's so zoomed in, who knows? But Chris Jericho, Michael Cole said Chris Jericho invented the Elimination Chamber. He did not. He invented Money in the Bank.
Did invent Money in the Bank. Elimination Chamber, was that not one of Bischoff's?
It was one of Bischoff's.
Yeah. Y2J, controversial, but he was John Cena's last opponent, wasn't he? Before he got fired during his first run. So it is topical. Just tie in nicely. I love that belt. That's actually like I think of like growing up.
That
tag team.
Iconic.
It's a proper belt. Proper belt that. Yeah. One of the most hated guys in
here's a
wrestling.
fun little quiz for you. What theme song was Jericho walking out to during this match?
I mean, it was one of the. It was Break the Walls.
No.
Was it not?
I'm thinking,
No.
who was he in a tag team with? This
With
was
Christian.
too early for Jericho.
Christian.
He was with Christian. He was with Christian.
But he sure was this not after Christian?
Nope, this was
Wrestle-
when they had the tag team titles.
But they had it before WrestleMania 20, didn't they? And then, did they have it again at 21? Because obviously they had that feud over
The
like
theme
Trish
song,
and
I'll
stuff.
say, has nothing to do with Christian and the tag team.
What, is it a Fozzy song?
No. Chris Jericho walked out to a live version of Saliva's King of My World.
So yeah, I couldn't actually have told you the song, but I did remember Saliva did play. We actually, for a future episode, need to do a bit of trivia on themes. But
That's a
yeah,
great question I just made up on the spot too. I'm
It
going
just-
to jot that one down for later.
Martin, go fuck yourself.
Well, Chris Jericho's waist at the very first Elimination Chamber at the Survivor Series 03, I think it was. Walking out to be in the pod.
2002.
I just realised now as well it didn't go up on their guy's side, but it came up on the lad's side, so it's all that matters.
Yeah, but anyway, nice little segues there.
Nice little segues.
For
nice
sure.
Little segues.
All of whom, apart from, I guess, can anyone think of the time Rhino and Cena had
Yeah.
interacted?
Oh yeah, they interacted quite a
A
bit.
few times on
you know,
SmackDown.
and yeah, like especially because Rhino was one of like Heyman's stooges during like that 03-04 time as well, and he would just be there. You know, we'd have do you know? I actually think when Cena turned face when he said no to. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong because I know Adrian attacked him. I'm pretty sure Rhino attacked him another time when he like lost the United States title. They definitely fought around that period.
They have been in 2 matches together,
on SmackDown.
both on SmackDown. Cena 1-on-1 against Rhino, going over in January 2004, and in a tag team match, a handicap match, featuring Brock Lesnar, Matt Morgan, and Rhino against John Cena and name redacted Chris Benoit.
Look, I thought you were going to say Zach Gowen, so
No, but
No, they had
he
him
might have as
killed at
well
that
have been
point.
there. Anyway, guys, we're here for the chamber. Ultimately, first and foremost, most importantly, we're here for the Elimination Chamber, and the listeners want to know our thoughts. So we're going to dive into it,
I'm
and
heartbroken.
let's not waste your time.
Mhm.
We're not going to waste our time by going through match by match, minute by minute, moment by moment. There really is only one place to start, and that is the main event segment and the main event match and segment that followed. So we will obviously touch on the segment that followed, but it doesn't quite happen without the match itself. John Cena wins the Elimination Chamber by by choking Punk out, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
And goes on to main event WrestleMania. Seems pretty logical to me. Nothing too odd about that result, was there?
Finish. I would say the finish was a bit.
Very much a
it was a
heel
bit-
finish.
Yeah, very in line with his heelish promo in the press conference after the Rumble. He did say sorry. He did say sorry very subtly. I didn't actually. Yeah, he did. I didn't actually realize watch it live, but then a lot of people put it online, and then I looked at it again when he's got the choke. He goes sorry. But very subtly done. I thought the finish was. It was good. It was actually a good finish anyway, because even if nothing happened in that segment, it's still intriguing to go like, because that's not like Cena, so it still would have been intriguing. And it's also a good way of protecting Punk, who I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% sold on the triple threat match of him and Reigns and Rollins yet. We'll come on to that, but he can still maybe come into this potentially, but maybe that's like the wishful thinking in me. But I thought the match itself was pretty meh. It was more about staring at each other, getting reactions, and very slow punches. Wasn't much going on in terms of a match. It was a bit of a meh chamber.
Why do you think that was there?
To be honest, I think it's because of the people in it as well. Because you're talking about guys that don't wrestle that much. You know, like Cena. You know, obviously Cena's all about the facial reactions. Punk hasn't really wrestled that much, even though when he has wrestled, he's been good. You had people like Damien Priest in it, Logan Paul, who people didn't really care about. Rollins is the main event scene. He's just there to look good. You know, he's not going to win it. And look, I know there was a lot of rumors about Drew potentially winning it. I'm so happy he didn't win it because I would have found that very underwhelming if he was the man to reveal in the final segment.
I love it.
And
Drew McIntyre is going to win. First person eliminated.
yeah, yeah. The thing is, I would have loved it if it was just Logan Paul to roll him up, if it was going to be a roll up, you know. But it doesn't matter. I'm not here about Drew McIntyre. It's just like it's just meh. It was just a bit formulated, and you get to the last three, and you just know you're just waiting for something to happen. Mark, you know, it's not. I don't know. The women's match was exciting, fast paced, really good stuff going on. But it was all about the story. But I did think watching it, there was so much stopping, staring,
Mm-hmm.
the odd, and there was actually so too much of this punch back and forth. You know, one punch, ooh, ah, you know, whatever they call it, like. And I just felt it was just there was just too much of that going on. But it was all about the story and Cena winning, going to Mania. And look, I don't know. I'll ask both of you guys if the last segment didn't happen and you've got a face Cena versus a face Rhodes, like what's like? Would you have still been excited for Cena
I
winning?
would
Like,
have. I would
yeah,
have. Yeah, Cody Rhodes at the stage of his career that he's at now, fighting John Cena, would have been a great match. It would have been a great match, no matter what. But you would have had someone had to be the kind of aggressor in that. Like when you had John Cena versus Taker, John was the aggressor. Oh,
yeah,
stop being a little bitch and come on a fucking retirement and fight me.
yeah.
Do you
No,
know?
agreed. Yeah,
So you still would have had that you would have that happen if John hadn't done what he had done, which we'll talk about. But it probably wouldn't have been as good as the story build up. We would have been sitting here in a month's time going, yeah, so that match is coming up. Anyways.
yeah.
So
No,
yeah,
I
I
agree.
agree. I think it's very formulaic. The way it could have gone and probably would have gone had The Rock not got involved in SmackDown a couple of weeks ago. That involvement made this obviously more intriguing as to where it would go. But should The Rock have stayed out and Cena just wins the Elimination Chamber, it's just very much a okay, cool, all right, I guess it's going. I think the match would have actually been better. So I think the match was a bit shit because people knew the bigger picture was what's coming next, and it was almost like let's get through the match, um, rather than having huge high spots. But as well, by the nature of the fact that those who were there probably want to protect themselves a little bit, you're going to see mental spots from Cena or um, from Punk. Rollins has injury issues in the past. Priest, yeah. Drew eliminated early. Logan Paul, surprised didn't do anything too crazy, but he's just there for the star power. Yeah, I think the match suffered because of the story they were trying to tell, but that's what made it work. No,
Oh
I
yeah.
don't think it would have been as interesting. And I think I would have been disappointed if the route was Cena wins, no shenanigans, no nothing, because I still do think that I wanted, but still kind of want to see the match at WrestleMania between Cody Rhodes and CM Punk.
Mm. Yeah, look, and I will come on to it. I think Punk could still come in this feud. I still
Uh,
think he could. I would love to be right with that, but
Not
I
a
don't know.
chance. Not a chance. Story's
I
not
just
there.
well, I just think because of his favor. I come
Yeah,
back to it, but
the
I come back to it with that
Do you think they
favor
forget about that though?
probably because they
I
forget about
think we've
everything.
forgotten about it for whatever's gone on. That favor's gone out the door now because what Punk's one thing has been. I want the main event of WrestleMania, and Punk didn't on his. It wasn't Punk that lost that chamber. was Rollins took that main event away from him. So Punk's gonna go, you took the only fucking thing I wanted. Last year, Drew fucking took it. This year, you fucking took it. I'm not having this shit no more. I'll see you at WrestleMania. Also, Roman, go fuck yourself.
I mean, yeah, it's a talking point, I guess. But I mean, yeah, I mean, out of all the 6 people in that chamber, Punk was the one that came out looking the best.
Massively. Also,
That's
how
what
many
I'll say.
fucking finishers did he need to take and kick out of?
Yeah, I know. Like, it's mental. It's
Well,
mental.
they don't quite have Super Cena anymore, so
Yeah,
they
right,
need someone to be
fucking
kicking out of
Super
these.
Phil. The one thing I really didn't care for in the chamber match, or the men's one now, was 2 eliminations were pretty much the same. Drew McIntyre got pinned because Drew McIntyre took his eyes off the prize and let emotions get the best of him. Seth Rollins got pinned because Seth Rollins took his eyes off the prize and let his emotions get the best of him.
Yeah, I know. It's like one-dimensional, like, story character work into it. It's a fair point.
Priest, okay, yeah, Drew cost him that. Punk, Rollins cost him that. Logan Paul just got beat. That was simple as. Yeah, the one thing I thought was funny as well was when Rollins did curb stomp Punk on the outside, and Cole's there. By God, that curb stomp on the steel on the outside, while you're literally looking at Seth Rollins at a wide view, and it's just padding.
Yeah. What I would have loved, actually, I don't know, it's heat the moment, if he would have done a double one like he did 2 Reigns.
Yeah.
Really emphasize the fact, just that, the super curse or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I thought was a missed opportunity. I thought it was good, and him just shouting "die, die, 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 die" was pretty funny. So yeah, I thought the finish was all right, but it doesn't really matter, boys, does it? Because it's all what happens after that next 15 minutes. And then, credit to them in terms of, like, when I was panicking looking at the time that was remaining before the chamber match started, and there was like 45 minutes, including knowing you had the chamber match and the Rock segment. And normally the Rock takes about 20 minutes just get into the ring. So you're like, for God's sake, this is going to be a really quick match. I don't even know what's going to happen, but whatever that last segment was, 15 minutes, 14 minutes, it was like perfect timing. Got so much in.
You know what that last segment was? Fiend, 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 Fiend. What the fuck was Travis Scott doing there?
Slapping Cody, bitch slapping Cody's face. That's what he was doing.
Yeah, that man is a stiff slap. I have no idea what really he was doing there. It's just visibility.
He's definitely getting involved in Cena Steam Tune. Definitely getting involved.
And all of the tapes and everything in 20 years' time, and the one question everyone's going to ask every year: why was Travis Scott there?
God, it's Travis Scott.
Look, imagine, it wouldn't surprise me, like, in terms of the way the world is and celebrities are, a scandal with him, and then they can't even show that segment anymore.
Oh yeah, can't show that no more.
Yeah.
There goes that one now. Do you know what made me laugh the most is when holding down Cody, and Rock's telling him holding down, and what does he do? He starts lifting Cody Rhodes up. And he's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, and just puts his fucking elbows and pushing Punk down. Rock again, hold him. And Travis Scott walks away.
Oh yeah, just honestly, to be fair, like, until that you see things back, I wouldn't say it ruined the segment. It was just like, well, what's he doing there?
It was just one confusion.
Yeah, I bet he's probably going to be involved in writing Cena's theme, but then
oh no, that theme song is that was made 12 years ago. Whatever's going to come out, that was made 12 years ago.
Well, the thing is, what Cena said that he did is private, because the stuff that he's talking about, because I've seen the stuff online about the Hustle, Loyalty, Respect song, but then the one that Cena was talking about had like saxophones playing and other bits playing. I've not heard this, so it'll be very interesting to see if he goes down that route.
So before we go talking theme songs and stuff like that, what the fuck happened?
What?
Mark.
Okay. Well, if you're watching or listening to this by now, you probably don't need the synopsis from me. But if for whatever reason it would sound better to hear a Scotsman say it, I will. Cena wins. Lol. The Rock comes out with Travis Scott. and invites Cody. Well, Cody comes out first, of course. Stands in the ring with Cena. They shake hands, they embrace, and The Rock joins him in the ring with Travis Scott. A little segment back and forth. Our hero, Cody Rhodes, declines the offer from The Rock,
What were his
claiming
exact words?
Well, he said that his soul already was given to the business and the people, and
Such
then
a Cena
turned
line.
around.
Such a Cena line that I want it.
It was, because I've seen things that differ from that. But he then looks up at our man Dwayne and says, "Hey, Rock, go fuck yourself."
And the crowd goes, "I've heard it before with Christian Cage."
Pretty much, once again, copying AEW's homework. They can't book their own shit. But The Rock doesn't really sell it. He doesn't sell it, but Cena, he sells it. In the background, John Cena is going fucking loop-de-doo. He's going mental. He's doing that really annoying Cena thing of over-expressing himself and exaggerated facials, exaggerated gestures. He's just going bananas, going bonkers, going nuts. And eventually embraces Cody Rhodes, and The Rock looks back up and gives Cena the signal. And for the first time since 2003, John Cena, his facial expressions change from exaggerated smile to possibly the most exaggerated angry stare you'll ever see as he boots Cody Rhodes in the balls and starts beating the shit out of him, basically. John Cena turns heel properly, and in what was probably the most shocking heel turn since 1996, when Hulk Hogan did the same thing at Bash on the Beach. The hero has lived long enough to become the villain at last. John Cena is a heel. And hey, we're in for the ride. Martin, what was your reaction? Did you watch this live?
I didn't. I wish I did. I fell asleep. The joys of working. I got to Sammy and Kevin, and I faded away. Got up, watched the chamber, knew that segment was going to come on. So I'm watching, but I'm not thinking John's going to turn heel at all. Okay? I'm sitting here and I'm going, Rock, go fuck yourself. Okay, yeah, okay. So when you're going to hit him with the belt, Cody? Okay. Okay, we're going to embrace. All right, that's fine. When you're going to hit him with the belt, Cody? What's John doing? What's Rock doing? No fucking way! Low blow, and I am absolutely in hysterics. What the fuck just happened? Laughing my ass off, clapping away, thinking, what the fuck have we just witnessed? Because honest to God, nobody, and I don't give a fuck what anyone's like, oh, I knew that was gonna happen. I knew that was... Nobody knew that was gonna fucking happen. Nobody in the world would have guessed John Cena turns heel, because John Cena doesn't turn heel. And he fucking did it. He fucking turned heel. Someone needs to go fucking check on R-Truth. That man is in absolute hysterics. I hope he's okay. Truth, we're sending you our love. Your childhood hero. He has done possibly the worst thing possible. We hope you're okay, Truth. We hope you're okay. But what a fucking moment. What was your reaction, Aaron?
Yeah, well, what a fucking moment, right? I was like you, Martin. I didn't stay up to watch it all. Bloody Trish Stratus put me to sleep, but anyway. Yeah, so phone was on airplane mode watching it, and the whole time I'm watching it at the beginning, I'm just like, Cena, please stay in the ring, because I was just like, as long as he was in the ring, something was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, please stay in the ring. Don't just leave it to the two of them. Because all it's going to do is, like, Corey's going to be on top or something like that. Not hit the rock with the crossroads or something. So like, Cena, please stay in the ring, and then I'm intrigued. And then I'm like to my partner. My partner's just in bed with me, and then she's just like, I'm
For
just
Christ's
like,
sake, had to get that in, didn't you?
I know, like fully clothed, like she's trying to sleep, and I'm watching The Chamber on Netflix. It's nothing too romantic.
That
And
is romantic for us, but that's the dream.
well, I was it. She was too happy with it, but literally, I'm like, Cena's turning bad here, and she's like, no, whatever. And then he does it, and I'm like, you, Martin, I'm just going mental. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I can't believe he's doing this. I'm going mental, going crazy. And then she goes, the acting is so shit. And then I was thinking, it is shit. It's really basic, not the best low blow. A bit meh, him punching him. It's just a bit meh. And then the more I think about it, it's how fucking good it was. Cena went proper heel. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just gonna shades of grey, go a little bit heel. I'm gonna show everyone I'm a fucking bad guy now. I'm a fucking shite bag. I'm gonna choke the guy out, go D. Bryan, Justin Roberts on Cody's ass, and yeah, it was just brilliant. And I've watched it so many times back, and it gets better every time. And the fact it was quite cringe and quite cliche makes it so much better. Like Cena's facial expressions are so over the top, but they're so brilliant. And even his press conference when he comes in like the prototype, deadpan face and just drops the mic, I just thought brilliant. Of course, Dwayne has to ruin it and be all like director's cut and like behind the scenes of what is going on and breaking kayfabe and stuff. But at least Cena did the right thing and played his heel persona. Yeah, it's brilliant, wasn't it? Like I don't know, Mark, what if your reactions are any different? What were your reactions like actually, Mark, in terms of like animated? Was there a scream? Was there anything?
I could hear him crying from here.
So I mean, not often on a Sunday. Yeah, I mean, I don't really lie in very much, to be fair, with work and whatever. But on a Sunday, particularly, it's one day where I'm like, you know what, I'll happily lay in, get out of my bed at maybe 10 or whatever. Quarter to 8, I got out of my bed and stuck on Netflix, and I made sure I was going to watch the whole show. Like I didn't skip. I had loads of time on Sunday morning just to get through it, and I put on the full show, expecting this to come around. I saw something on Twitter. It's coming around halfway through the show, or maybe before the chamber. So okay, fair enough. And the fact it didn't made me start to wonder. Right, something big, big, big is happening here. Like it can't come at the end. I think Cena's for the finish to the match, I kind of thought something's up, but didn't really believe it. And when that segment happens, I just I can't describe. I wasn't there was nobody there. I wasn't in bed with anyone, right? But if I was, they probably would have had to pick my jaw off the floor. I don't quite know what I thought of it at the time because I was just in sheer shock at the fact that he'd done it. The exaggerated facial expressions always put me off with Cena in anything he does. But that stark turn of exaggerated happy, like throwing his arms in the air in delight, to that real anger and that face just was like jarring and almost scarring. In my head, I see that photo, that still image of his face staring at the rock. The only thing that I didn't like, right, is that yes, you couldn't tell that that was like the route they were going to go down, but the hug was so long, and The Rock had to stand there and do a gesture, and then you knew. I wish The Rock had just not done anything, just stared, and Cena had turned without looking at him because
Fair.
it just worked slightly for me as far as heel turns go. Still the biggest ever. I'm totally nitpicking. And it did give us the moment where the crowd realized and then shifted. But can you imagine if he just kicked him and the crowd doesn't see the zooming in?
So I actually disagree with you. Just for the senses, by making it obvious, you knew it was happening, but it's like this is still
Couldn't
John
stop
Cena.
it.
Yeah, it's
You're
like
processing it all in a
yeah,
wonder.
yeah. You're right. If like shock value, like if it was Seth Rollins doing it to the Shield again, or something like that. This is John Cena we're talking about. The fact is obvious. Be like. oh no, surely not, surely not. Even then, it's like, surely not, surely not.
You're
It's
still
like,
processing it.
yeah, it's like that's what makes made it so clever was that you knew it was coming. You actually knew it was coming after the Go Fuck Yourself when Cena's smiling at one angle, Rock smiling in the other corner. They're just like sort of smiling at each other. You knew it was. Well, I mean, I thought it was coming then, but
Sums
then
up.
because you knew it was coming, just that build up of it. And it's just mad to see, like you're just seeing it like in mainstream news and stuff. It's crazy, and all of a sudden that match is it's just got a different level to it. My only my only gripe with it, and I said this to you, Mark, when we spoke about it after Elimination Chamber. You referenced the second biggest heel turn since 1996 with Hogan at Bash, whatever it's called, Bash to the Beach. The payoff was Hogan had a monumental run in WCW as Hollywood Hogan. I don't know what the long term payoff of this, if it's just going to be more of a shock value moment. Cena will go into Mania, he'll go as a heel, but Cena will end his run turning on The Rock and being back to good old John again. That must be the only way, right? So I don't know what the like. We look back at it, we'll look at it as a moment, but we won't look at it as like a industry changing time, if you get me.
It will if he puts somebody over as a result. If and he does, he will put Cody over, or maybe not this time, but it will end with somebody's benefit. And that's giving back to the business, and that's the legacy of this moment. I would feel disappointed as a fan if I was like a huge John Cena mark and paid a ticket to go to see him travel to Glasgow or London, all these live shows that they're doing over in like the UK and Europe, and for him not to be the character of John Cena that I grew up with and admired, and I'd feel let down that if his theme song changes, if he doesn't do the "You Can't See Me," like all the stuff that the kids have grown up for, that this whole last hurrah was based around. But you know what? My theory is wrong, but I have a weird thing in the back of my mind that this isn't his last run
Heels
because
lie.
Hughes lie, and I think he's so desperate for number 16. I can
17.
see this 17. Thank you, Mark. Um, but I can see this being something that builds his character to the point where he will have another run, and he will do these tour dates again as John Cena's, as we know it. But I just don't see him doing a year where 6 months of that, 7 months of that, whatever it may be, is this random new heel character. That's the thing. Maybe this is a way of actually extending that a little bit farther forward. And this isn't his retirement run after all. Never say never. Shawn Michaels and Triple H came back for bloody Saudi. Cena could come back and do the same. But it's just that in the back of my head. It's a massive story. I wonder how long they've been sat on it. But for me, yeah, when I finished this at 11:30, I just went straight at 11:30 a.m. I finished up watching the show. I went put my trainers on and went for an hour and a half to walk, and an hour of that was talking to Aaron about this and getting this off my chest. But yeah, that's my thought. I think the payoff is somebody goes over and Cena continues.
It was just such a bloody attack,
Brutal.
brutal, yeah, and it just because we'll come on to briefly one of the other matches in the car where I felt it lacked from a bit of color, and the reason for that was they were saving it for that moment, right? So it's just it's just unreal that that's happened. We're like, hitting him with the brass knucks. Oh wait, it's the Rolex. But that was brilliant as well because Michael Cole didn't know anything about it as
And
well.
Michael
These
Cole
guys,
thought that Chris Jericho invented the fucking Elimination Chamber.
yeah,
Cole was drunk that night.
he was too busy with his cherry chapstick, waiting to
Exactly.
kiss Cena's ass. But yeah, look, it was just an amazing segment. And the thing is, you don't appreciate it at the time because you're in shock. And it's the first time I think actually Triple H has come out with one of those bullshit. It's a game changing moment comment that he does before every pay per view, and it's actually come true. But yeah, strap in, boys. It's going to be a fun ride as long as the guy can show up a few times. Do you know what I mean? I know he's scheduled for a few Raws in a row, but it'd be nice to see him regularly.
Yeah.
Heel or not, you
He's
know.
only got like 30 dates left or something, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's just. But also, I just can't get his body. I'm not body shaming, right? I wouldn't complain having seen his body, when I'm his age. But it's just not the Cena body that we're used to.
I think he looks the exact same. I just
I
think
thought
his,
it was the
his
exact
ring
same.
play.
Yeah, Aaron is just picky. He's just yeah.
I'm sorry. I can't have body shaming John Cena. My God.
It's okay. We'll cancel him. We'll kick him off. It's okay. 3 episodes.
Well, that's fine.
Might be the most offensive.
I've still got my trademark to say later on.
Maybe the most offensive so
My
far.
only
Martin, any
question
closing
is,
points?
my one closing point is, what do I do now? Do I just like cross over the never part and just have give up, or
Martin, for the listeners, has a never give up John Cena tattoo.
do I
Um,
just
I did not know you were a total Cena mark.
yeah? So it's
I
like,
would
do I just get black box there and just give up?
I would put never give up on Travis Scott.
Oh my god, yeah, just on Travis Scott.
Like, yeah. Because
Or
then
you could
Travis
just,
Scott, because when Cena turns face again, you could just score out with Travis Scott.
or you could just score out the give, never up, and reference your
Never
erectile
give. Yeah, just
dysfunction.
get rid of the never get rid of
Ne-
the up part and just never give.
no, just take out the give. Is never
Never
up.
up.
Erectile dysfunction. Anyway.
As a closing point, I know that you had your
That should
closing
be the
point. Yeah.
closing point.
No. Just like out of all that, what would you say is like your favorite moment of that Cena turn? Like, if there's one thing that you're just like, I can't believe that, the thing that sticks in your mind out of all that, because there was so much that happened in that segment, right?
It's a great question.
Yeah, because like for me, it was actually him just choking, the visual of him choking Cody.
Tie.
And it's like, I say it's a weird thing to see. It's just a weird thing to see Cena do that. Like, that isn't Batista in the Last Man Standing match, or Umaga.
He summoned his inner Daniel Bryan for that one.
Yeah, he did.
He was just picturing Justin Roberts.
Yeah, it's just that visual. It's weird. It's like when you say, Mark, you can't get the evil face out of your head. I can't get him choking Cody Rhodes out of my head.
The evil face is for me, and I know that goes back on what I said earlier about the fact that he, I'd have loved it if it was just a short moment. You've swayed me on that. I think you're right. The delay actually made it work, and the face is what everyone will remember. That face, the face turn that turned him heel. But also I wanted to just give Cody Rhodes his flowers again, because I thought he played an outstanding part in that for the
Yeah.
sympathy. Now we've said for a while people have said, I don't think I have, that Cody's stale and he'll turn and this and that, whatever about his run. But make no mistake about it, that guy's a fucking star. He's a babyface, and he will be. He's this generation's John Cena to these children, these kids. He'll be the Make-A-Wish guy of the future. He's the one. He is. He sold everything perfectly, and he's the perfect guy to do it. Cena, if that was happening the other way around, and that was like Rock turning on Cena, like back 20 years ago or whatever, Cena's not believable as someone that could be an underdog. You can flip Cody into an underdog, into an overachiever, into whatever, because he's got such relatable character. Facial expressions are good. He took the punch from Travis Scott and was bleeding. Yeah, he took a beating, right, with a belt as well. The guy deserves his flowers. He is a true babyface, and now I want to see him. I want to see him beat Cena. I really want to see him beat Cena as a result, and that's exactly what they're looking for. I don't think he does, but I want to see it.
Yeah, I think if anything that just cements him as the ultimate babyface, and like it didn't feel like it shoved it down our throats, which is good. So yeah, no, agree with you.
So do we let him just do his rant, or?
Yeah. So they say one of the show that you'll come to love. The world's largest rant machine? I don't know.
Yes. I mean,
However,
it makes me sound like I'm not in the best physical condition, but but it's
The
good.
world's largest ram machine.
there's a lot to cover outside of that match, right? With the main event and the segment that we just discussed, and clearly that's the legacy that this pay-per-view will have. We also had the women's chamber, which we can talk about. We also had the women's tag team match as well, with Trish Stratus getting back in the ring.
That was
But the
great.
one we want to, yeah, it was decent enough, but really people were just kind of waiting for one thing. Um, but another match which could have been something, and we'll dive into, because I think this will lead to where Aaron is probably thinking of his rant for this week, is Owens versus Sammy. Um, a match that was built quite quickly with some heat on backstage segments, be it, you know, Kevin Owens' outstanding promos in the car and you name it, they've talked shit. But we've seen a lot of feuds before, but one in Canada like that could have been quite good. Before we go to the rant, Martin, what was your take on the match?
I'm assuming it was a great match. I wouldn't know about it because I fell asleep.
Oh, did you not watch the next day?
He doesn't
I was in
rewind.
Oh, do you know? Oh, all right, okay. I thought you watched the next morning, Martin.
I watched the
Um,
chamber and I watched the. I have that still to watch.
ah,
I had
what?
literally between Dublin and then work today. Haven't had the chance, but I
Uh,
know who wins. I
yeah,
know what happens at the end, so I'm happy to
yeah.
listen to you guys.
Well, what I will say is it's actually a really good match. It's a good match. I think if you don't go for this whole unsanctioned malarkey when they come into proper entrances and the bell rings, they still have a WWE style feel it out. I felt for unsanctioned match. They could have went
Yes,
proper intimate. Just sort of disruptive flow to make it a bit different. But in
it
terms
was.
of what those guys did, it was a bit slow. Bar, you probably agree, it was a bit slow until they went into the crowd, and there was a few table spots in the crowd. They started firing in the crowd, and a few table spots there, and then it started to pick up pace. Um, I still think it lacked color, but it makes sense why not because of what happened in the last segment. You want to try and minimize that, so it becomes a
Have a
special
blood
moment.
feud without blood.
Have a blood feud about blood exactly, but look, I thought it was a really good match, and I was well into it. And I finished with the power bombs on the apron, sort of a callback to their previous encounters was great. Yeah, it was a really good match. It was a really good match. I just wish it had been a normal no DQ match without this non unsanctioned malarkey. I think that's actually what spoiled it for me a little bit.
So I'm gonna touch on that as well. My thoughts on unsanctioned matches in general. The point you made is the perfect point. If we're really to believe this is unsanctioned, have them enter, but like strip back WWE's production completely. Don't have them be announced. Don't have, you know, have the bell ring and have a ref, and that's it. We'll give you the bell, we'll give you a ref, but we're giving you nothing else, right? Do what you have to do. Don't have officials there. Um, just completely strip back. Don't have them announce the winner. Don't have them properly enter. Make it completely unsanctioned, to the point where it is literally just these guys. We've given them a bit of time to go and beat the shit out of each other. We've given them a ref. We don't condone anything you're about to see. And then it feels a bit more like, okay, I understand. Because no DQ, um, no holds barred. Like these are all the
Street
exact
fight,
same street
yeah,
fight, extreme
yeah.
rules. It's all the same thing. It literally is. But you've got a bit of magic to work with the idea of an unsanctioned match that they
Mhm.
didn't quite hit the nail on the head with for me.
There was nothing like disturbing. There was one bite that Kevin Owens bit Sami Zayn at one point. There was nothing like disturbing like that, and to make it be like, oh, that's really like gross. It's like the what, like disgusting,
It's
or that's like that's vile.
yeah,
That's cruel. It was all. You're right. It's all very ECW hardcore street fighty. Not even
hardcore isn't
hardcore.
nothing.
It's just yeah. But I thought it was a match. It was good. It was entertaining. It definitely was not a bad match. I just think the stipulation lessened the quality.
Yeah, and at the end of the match, Sammy's getting the shit beaten out of him. Not maybe as much later on as we would see later on, although brutal in its own way. Before the return of the swollen one, the Apex Predator, the Legend Killer, whatever gimmick he goes by these days, Orton returns. Aaron, you have the floor.
I mean, you know, Mark, but for Martin, the Randy Orton's are one of my favourites of all time. I love Randy Orton to bits. When he had his back injury, when he was out for 18 months, him coming back from that, he should have been as big a star, top pedestal as where Cena is right now, Cody Rhodes is right now, Roman Reigns is right now, that level. And since he's come back, he's been nothing but an afterthought. When he came back to Survivor Series, obviously unique circumstances with CM Punk. But then when you think about I always think about that SmackDown when he came back and it was in the ring with Reigns, the Bloodline who allegedly took him out, and they never even had a one-on-one feud. He was just shoehorned in a multi-man. All he has been is shoehorned in multi-man matches, Mania multi-man match, and then even the stuff with Kevin Owens. He gets injured and he's out for so long, and he comes back and he's still wearing that wee shitty jacket, sleeveless jacket thing he's wearing. He just just waltzes in. It's the same shit. Even when the Clash of the Castle when he returned. To make the save. That was another, little layoff he had. And then he came in and he was looking at Cody's title. You think, oh, that's intriguing. Randy Orton's coming for that. That's going to be a big storyline. And it's just been a fucking afterthought. Just been a fucking afterthought. And it's actually no fault of his own. He's not won a pay-per-view match since his return. He's going to be in a match with Kevin Owens now, and that feud's been going on for too long because he's had this layoff. Now, I don't know if this was an injury layoff or if this was always a scheduled layoff. So that I don't know. People in the comments can fill me in on that. But it just seems like unnecessary writing him off TV because they don't know what to do with him. And then him returning, my immediate thought was, oh, I've seen this before. This isn't a mad return. People are more interested in singing a song now than seeing Randy Orton. Sing a little bit of voices, see an RKO, job done. But really, it should be like Randy Orton's like the main guy here. It should be a big deal about it. And literally, it's just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And I feel really bad for him because he is as good, if not better, than John Cena and Cody Rhodes and these guys. Well, he is better because he can play both roles great, the face and the heel, and he's got the best finisher of all time. So I don't know. I just feel it's a bit rubbish. And even like the whole thing with the punt kick, it was a bit. I don't know. I just thought it was such a letdown seeing him come out like that, and what they're doing with him is such a letdown. And I think if they do eventually pull the trigger with him and Cody Rhodes, the time's gone. Don't care. He's not a credible threat. He's done. They've missed the boat, and it's a shame. So that was my thoughts when I saw Big Randall Keefe come down.
Takeaway from this: how shit is Randy Orton's neck if Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn were able to come back within a week?
Look what that guy's been through, right? Look what that guy. Look what Cowboy Bob put him through for all those years.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I remember all those times where Cowboy Bob would just pile drive him down.
Yeah, like that's my thoughts. It's only because I really like him, and he is in the same pedestal, right? Of like it's like mainstream star as your Cena's, right? He's up there with them, and it's just like he's like an afterthought, and him coming out, it's just we've seen it so many times. That's all he does now. He takes a break, comes out, Stonder's in that wee shitty jacket, and then just hits an RKO. I hate that jacket. If you want a rant, I could do a whole fucking rant for an hour on that sleeveless who they vested thing he wears. Just wear a fucking t-shirt that says RKO. I hate the wee fucking thing. We sleeveless thing. Worst entrance attire, but that's another story.
Yeah, that's it. There's the fire. There's the fire. Let's talk about Randy Orton's vest. No, I'm kidding.
Nah, look, I won't shout at Randy. I love Randy.
We'll give him a whole episode on the vest.
Yeah, yeah. Don't get me started, Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, we go. We cannot. We would be here too long. Martin, Randy Orton's return, makes a good point. It's not a return that I'm unfamiliar with seeing by now. I guess you'll have caught up. Maybe you'll have watched the highlights afterwards.
Oh, so I've seen the return and everything. My only one comment on it, I kind of said it, is how shit is his neck? That you were out for, what was it, 2 months?
Was he actually injured, Martin?
No,
was he actually injured?
No, he wasn't injured. That was storyline.
Oh, storyline stuff. Okay, yeah.
How shit is your neck that Cody was back a week later? It actually wasn't. I think it happened on like a Raw, and he was back for SmackDown, and Sami Zayn was like at home for a week, and you were gone for 2.5 months ish.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
I know.
if we're gonna be consistent here, let's make sure the injury times are about the same here, okay? Okay, Trips.
I guess because it's going somewhere with the feud with him and
But it's
Owens.
just dragging on, man. It's just the time's been and gone, you
Getting
know?
Orton on the card though for WrestleMania is something you just have to do. That's why they're doing
Hundred
it.
But he
percent.
shouldn't be a guy that you just get on the card. That's my point, right? It's just that shouldn't.
Where would you have liked to see him?
We were allowed to see him.
At
Originally, he
this
should be
Mania?
as it stands.
Where would you have?
Oh, win the Rumble and challenge one of the titles. If you're always gonna do this, heel route, go for the other title. He deserves it. Put him in the spot. It's where he deserves. If,
It was
if, if,
interesting.
if they're doing the Mania thing just for him to punt Owens, maybe that's where they're going with it, just so he gets his punt. But the thing is, Owens doesn't win anyway, so it's not like, oh, he's a dastardly heel that gets away with shit. All he does is beat up guys to lose the match, more or less. Unless you're Sami Zayn, who's irrelevant. So it's just, I don't know. It's a shame. It's a real shame for
Look, you've
Orton.
upset him now, Mark. Look what you've done.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
He has been.
I see in the future, I mean, Cena and Orton's relationship is strong, right? And Cena has always said he wants to either retire, have his retirement match against Orton or whatever. I think goes without saying, Orton does win the title at some point the next year because him and Cena will probably fight for it.
I mean, what I'll say in that, for Cena to be heel now, Cena versus Orton, the role
I
reversal
know,
would
right? For
be.
once, the fucking roles reversed.
And I think that's the beauty about Cena. That's one point about Cena being heel. Some of the matches you can have now the other way around is ridiculous. But that Orton Cena match, it's got to happen now. Maybe you're right. Maybe, but then we want to see Drew win the title at some point. How many fucking title changes are there going to be this year, Mark? Considering they only change it once a year. So
Somehow they're gonna maybe get the world's heavyweight title on SmackDown, and Drew will maybe end up fighting for that. WWE title stays on Raw, Cody going over, something like that. I can see, but we're going beyond the Orton return and having a little bit of an exploration as to the next steps because clearly this monumental heel turn has given us such food for thought as to where we could potentially be going, who's going to fight who, how they're going to like what the dynamics will be with heels and faces, what this next year for Cena looks like. Um, guys, what the fuck does happen next? As it stands, Rhodes, Cena, heel Cena at Mania. How's it gonna go? I can't call this build. I can't call what happens after. I love the idea of a face Orton and a heel Cena going at it, but there's just so much now that we could do that we just never thought possible or saw coming. What the fuck is going to happen next?
um, all I know is Drew is going to go on SmackDown, go up against Eugene and lose by roll up. Don't know. That's
Yes!
all. That's all I know is going to happen.
Love it!
Yeah, got no idea, but we're on for the right. I mean, you could fancy book to the cows come home, or come home to roost, or rooster, or whatever the expression is. But I actually don't know. But the thing is, I don't trust WWE to give us all the matches we want, especially if the main stars are not going to do the work, the scheduled dates, all the dates. It all depends. The titles are involved, right? But it's exciting though. I mean, the road to WrestleMania has started. I love how Triple H gives himself a pat in the back now to be like, "Oh, you didn't think we're on the road to WrestleMania, but we are on the road to WrestleMania," and he gives himself a big pat in the back. Um, but no, it's exciting. Look, at even the women's. I don't know if you want to touch on the women's for the last five or
Mm-hmm.
so, but I thought match of the night, um, the Elimination Chamber match from bell to bell, start to finish was brilliant. Jade Cargill's return set the tone for the night. I thought that was perfectly done. And I know, Mark, you want to talk about your new love. New wrestlers won you over.
Yeah, rest of the year, Liv Morgan. I'd like to fight anyone that says otherwise. She's had an amazing year, and again was the MVP in that match. Um,
She was
the whole
great.
thing with Jade at the beginning, interesting. Martin is
I can do
looking at me
something
like
better.
Don't
oh,
say Angel. Don't say
who's
Angel Garza.
No,
Don't you
no,
who's
that
had
would
dare.
have
a
been great, wouldn't it? That would have been great. Angel Garza! No.
Liv Morgan for me has had the best 12 months, possibly even more, ever since that revenge tour, ever since the injury to Rhea Ripley, and she's just now she doesn't have the belt. She just wrestles like really well, exciting matches. She just does her thing. No screwy finishes with Dom. I'm a big fan. I thought she was great in that Elimination Chamber. Martin,
That's a
Can I
tell
just
me I'm
say
wrong.
we are passing over one very important thing that happened at Chamber as well. That being
what?
the return of Jade Cargill.
Yeah, oh yeah. So like, it set the tone, didn't it? It set the tone.
But I want to hear your takes on this. Did Jade go for the right person?
She did, in my opinion, she went for the right person, but she's not got all the people involved.
Ooh, okay.
That's so. What I find interesting was when she made the entrance, immediately Naomi looked at Bianca, and I think the one thing with Triple H is he's always about the finer detail, right? Both Bianca and Naomi are wearing white, and Jade Cargill comes in black.
I love that you noticed that as well. Love
Yeah,
that you noticed that.
and the only reason I really noticed it is because Bianca was directly behind Naomi. Like you could just obviously tell they were white. So even the placement of the chamber was very clever, right? So the fact is that Bianca still looked worried. Wasn't like, oh hey Jade, and I think that will lead nicely to a Bianca heel turn. Well, that's what we love because I'm really looking forward to seeing her in Rhea Ripley because you got two overpowered women, overbooked women, booked strong women going at it. Something's got to give, right? And I think that'll be the big twist at the end that she was in it all along. Don't know what you think, Mark.
As a heel,
Oh yeah, it's a heel. Yeah. She like they'll both attack Jade. That's what I think's happened.
I'd like to see that. It would be annoying if it was just that Naomi did it, and or that Bianca did it alone. If they actually worked together, because well, I don't know, I'd love to. It'd be interesting to see the story reason why they would do it. Jade looked brilliant, by the way, when she came back. That's exactly what we
She
need from her.
murdered Naomi.
Yeah,
I
come in
loved it.
and
Murdered
just
Naomi.
I love the way that she just like kicked her, closed the doors on her. I thought it was brilliant.
it was a beatdown, and that we need more of. She looked like, yeah, this is everything that you're painting, we're actually seeing. But interested to see how she goes going forward. But yeah, I'd like to see Bianca turn heel. I think it just freshens things up a little bit. You can't have WrestleMania without EST. Well, we ain't gonna. You're gonna be wrestling Rhea Ripley, but I just
Or
hope she does it as a heel.
Io Sky, depending on how tonight goes.
Yeah, I mean it's a shame because a few weeks ago you probably would have rooted for her, but now nah, you want to see Ripley versus Bianca
I did not
and
want
hair
to
versus hair. Hmm?
Just get rid of the gimmick straight away. Just just shave off that whole bit of head of hair, Bianca.
No, keep the weapon and just get rid of the
Oh,
rest.
just get rid of the rest. Just keep the oh, fucking
She
hell.
she gives it to Cena for his bald spot.
Nah, that's not a heel move. That's a face move. That's saving all of us.
That what else? Liv Morgan's pin, roll up pin. I hate the roll up pin, but the creativeness to use Bianca's hair was brilliant to eliminate Alexa Bliss. It
Oh
was
yeah.
just that was just a pop to that. That was
I actually thought that chamber was better than the men's simply because
oh
there was a bit more in it. Especially the Jade Cargill, like literally murdering Naomi, really fucking added to it.
just got to
Flowers to fucking Bianca, like she played that so fucking well, just screaming over, "It's not her! It wasn't her! It wasn't her!" Yeah, bitch, because it was you. Um, what else can we say happened in that fucking match? I
Bliss looked
thought
good. I thought Alexa Bliss looked good.
she did. She did.
Yeah.
I'd love to see if her and Liv do anything now. I think that would be a fucking fun little matchup between the two.
Well, Judgment Day and the Wyatt Six is possibly something we could potentially
Bo
see.
Dallas clear to compete as of today.
So
We'll start to see that. We'll start to see them appear a bit more on TV now.
yeah, I like Bliss on her own to be honest, but um yeah, there is that. But it's a common theme, right? When you look at the Rumbles and the Chambers, all these gimmick matches, the women's match is such better quality because the men's is just like nostalgic star power. They don't have to do anything, just stare around and do, their signature moves. But the women actually are the workhorses. They're the
Got a lot of
workers.
freedom, don't they?
Yeah, they do, but they're also really good. They're also really, really good. Probably the spare part in that match was Bailey, but she's still there for the star power. But it was a really good match, and actually going to the final two, you felt Bianca was going to win, but you wouldn't have been upset if Liv would have won, which is weird considering like she'd held the title and been in a lot of the big matches. But it was a really good chamber match, really good, really good.
Well,
Yeah, it was solid and all good pay-per-view, really.
Yeah, what well,
we're coming up here, and I feel like we will get given out to if we don't talk about the women's tag match. So, guys, what happens next now with the stories going after Elimination Chamber?
So it's interesting to see where we go. I think one thing to consider is we're recording this on Monday evening before Raw.
3 hours before Raw.
And I don't think we find out anything new about what the big talking point of the main event. I don't think we find out much more. I think we'll have a lot of things playing off it. Maybe R-Truth. Maybe there'll be lots of callbacks, lots of references, and the highest viewed moment, why Cena, why. We'll hear from Cena in 2 weeks' time or something. I think they'll make us wait. Fuck them for that, by the way. But I'm a wait, because whatever it looks like, as Aaron said, buckle up.
We're in for a hell of a fucking ride on the road to WrestleMania.
I can't wait for Priest McIntyre to Mania.
I can't wait for Priest to lose that match at Mania.
Yeah, with a fucking roll up.
I'm only
Anyway.
joking. It's going to be Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, of course it will. Of course it will. Oh dear.
Two things we can guarantee for tonight is CM Punk is going to address Seth Rollins. Gunther will obviously do his stuff with Jay. And we have two women's title matches with Lyra versus Ivy Nile, which easy win for the Irish. Up the boys. And Rhea versus Io Sky. So, two big title matches. And that'll be what we're talking about possibly next week.
Well, yeah. When the next episode comes out, we'll hopefully have a better idea of the card.
We'll have two Raws.
We'll have a better idea of the card, right? And maybe Chad Gable will come back all martial arty and all luchadored up.
Because he's learned from Rey Fenix.
Is that what you think?
Jesus Christ. Give Martin the boot.
He's a free agent.
What do you think
he's released.
What do you think he's going to come back as a heel? Against Penta? No.
Or Penta could be playing games with Gable. All we know is Chad Gable has been sent to some luchador.
He has.
That's all we know.
Then when Goku goes to King Kai. Don't know if that's a reference. It probably doesn't go down well to anyone here. Never mind. Take that back. I would love a cut of Martin saying, "What a nerd," with that background and those wristbands he wears.
I specifically put it to just say never to give up now. Specifically put it.
I mean,
give up.
Going back to Cena's thing, have you seen the videos of all the kids crying? It's fucking hilarious.
Remember, he said that. We didn't say that.
Like it's absolutely brilliant.
Dear parents of your children, we don't condone Aaron's behaviour or thoughts, but yes, I may end up having to go down a rabbit hole on Twitter to find some of these videos, so that I can make sure.
Brilliant. The dads are.
They're not funny, you know.
Oh no, they're not funny.
No, the dads are not excited. Put it that way. Actually, they're very excited.
Imagine all the kids in the crowd that night.
But I tell you,
imagine those kids that he did the Make-A-Wish for hours beforehand.
Looking right at you, Mark. Looking right at you.
I'm not gonna say I will cancel us. I'm gonna keep that one quiet. But indeed, we've got a road ahead, as Martin's wristband says. Give up. And if you have not given up on this podcast yet, you can name us. We're still looking for names. We can't call it the new podcast. We can't call it the FiveMarks, only Mark on the Five Marks Networks podcast
It's too long of a
because
name.
that's too long. We don't yet have a name, and we'd like to ask you, the listeners, the viewers, whatever you are, however you're consuming this, help us out. You got a couple of Scotsmen and the final boss sitting,
Boss.
ranting all things wrestling. Today we discussed the Elimination Chamber and the big things that happen from that. We'd love you to name us. We'd love you to reach us on the old internet at FiveMarksPod
Yeah,
on
on X on TikTok.
X and TikTok. TikTok, which we may be starting to see a few more engaging pieces of content from.
Including
going
reactions for
forward.
pay-per-views moving forward.
Which your man, the Savior, is leading on. So much more to come. You'll be seeing more of us. You'll be hearing more of us. Should you want to, if you've not given up on that yet, no more heel turns here. We're happily going to play the roles of baby faces until we bore you to the point after 23 years you're desperate for us to turn heel, or we'll just bring back Tony. Anyway,
That's a desperation one.
And a question for next time is who's The Rock's third man?
We're gonna talk about that on next because that's a whole Martin rant. That's a whole Martin rant. I have to be on the next
Can't
one.
wait. I can't wait for Martin, man. But who's The Rock's third man?
you'll find out Martin's thoughts on that on the next episode of the Unnamed Five Marks podcast, the new podcast. I would like to thank the final boss for giving us the platform again. Martin, thank you for having us.
They held me at gunpoint.
And to the savior of the Five Marks Network, Aron.
Usha.
We managed to get the use in. For me, once again, the only true mark on this Five Marks Network. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.